and welcome back to Planet Nibiru. Today we are going to look at an asteroid that will be skimming past Earth at a razor-close distance of 4,200 miles on October 12th of this year. We'll also be taking a look at the recent activity that's been going on out at Yellowstone, and we're seeing now that the ground is actually deforming due to all the earthquake activity in the area. So welcome aboard, and let's dive right in. According to a recent article on Yahoo News and another in the Daily Mail out of the UK, an asteroid the size of a small house, or about the size of a Boeing 737, is heading our way and will give our planet a pretty close drive-by in the next 2 months. Although scientists at NASA say it has very little possibility of hitting us, they cannot rule it out entirely. Why, you might ask? Well, basically because it's coming so close that the margin for error in tracking and predicting asteroids is well outside of the parameters of the asteroid that is approaching. So right now, it's basically a crapshoot as to whether it will hit us or not. Now, of course, the scientists won't come right out and say that, but if you read between the lines and look at the actual numbers involved, you will see that it is in the margin of error, and that means there's a chance it could hit us. Now, it's passing at a distance of 4,200 miles, which is actually shorter than the Great Wall of China. Interesting stuff. It's going to zoom by at an eighth of this distance from Earth to the Moon, and it's just going to miss our geostationary satellites that we have orbiting the planet. It will not hit Earth, says Detlef Kochi of the European Space Agency's Near-Earth Objects Research Team. That's the most important thing to say. Well, I think it's the most important thing to say, as well as hopefully know. The asteroid, dubbed TC4, first flitted past our planet on October of 2012. And that was about double the distance that it will be appearing this time. Now, the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope in Chile has managed to track down the rock and determine its distance. Right now, Rolf Densing, who heads the European Space Operations Center in Darmstadt, Germany, says it's damn close. The farthest satellites are 3,600 kilometers out, so yes, this is indeed a close miss. As close as it is right now, I think my prediction is pretty safe, meaning that it will miss us. Notice how he says pretty safe. Although NASA researchers are certain that it will not come any closer than 4,200 miles, if the asteroid did hit Earth, it could lead to a much more devastating level of impact than the asteroid that hit and exploded over the city of Chelyabinsk in Russia in 2013. That particular blast injured about 1,500 people and damaged about 7,000 buildings in and around the Chelyabinsk area, which is a very sparsely populated region of Russia. Had this come in over any type of major city, it would have been devastating. According to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the asteroid's next close approach to Earth will take place on December 29th of 2019. At that time, it'll be about 21 million miles away from us. So it won't be nearly as close a shave as we're going to get on October of this year. If it were to make impact with Earth's atmosphere, scientists predict that the space rock would burn up before hitting the surface. However, this one coming in is actually twice the size of the one that came in over Chelyabinsk. So, and that one did burn up pretty much in the air, although it did have an airburst over Russia, which caused all that damage. Scientists also add that an airburst of this object could cause damage and injuries at the ground level. Dr. Judith Grigori-Rees, an astronomer at the University of Texas McDonald Observatory, told AstroWatch that this is something that we need to keep an eye on. We could see an airburst and maybe broken windows and damage on the ground depending on where it hits. Researchers, however, are still uncertain of the asteroid's composition, which makes it difficult to predict what the effects of an impact on Earth would be. A spokesperson for NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory told the Daily Mail that asteroid 2012 TC4 was observed only briefly when it was discovered before and has been too faint to see recently. The ongoing observation campaign and the data we collect during this flyby will provide more direct information on mineralogical composition, structure, and size. These physical properties of the asteroid and its velocity relative to the Earth will influence the effects of an impact and how the object flies, allowing us to track and predict it more accurately. This is one of the reasons we perform follow-up observations, to determine those physical properties. NASA is also using the opportunity to test its network of observatories for its Planetary Defense System. Dr. Michael Kelly, a scientist working on the NASA TC4 observation campaign, said that scientists have always appreciated knowing when an asteroid will make a close approach so that they can safely make preparations and collect data to characterize and learn as much as possible about it. He states that this time we are adding in another layer of effort using this asteroid flyby to test the worldwide asteroid detection and tracking network, assessing our capability to work together in response to finding a potential real asteroid threat. Dr. Vishnu Reddy, assistant professor at the University of Arizona's Lunar and Planetary Laboratory, who is leading the campaign there, says that this is a team effort that involves more than a dozen observatories, universities, and labs across the globe, so we can collectively learn the strengths and limitations of our near-Earth object observation capabilities. As it starts to approach Earth in the coming months, large telescopes will be used to detect it and establish the asteroid's precise trajectory. This will allow a much more accurate prediction of its orbit in the future, and it'll allow us to predict if it's going to hit or fly by on this approach. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 4,200 miles seems really close to me. I mean, that is just a bit wider than the United States. It's about as long as the Amazon River, and it's shorter than the Great Wall of China. It's also about 1.5 times the length of I-80, which is the highway that runs across the United States. And it's about as long as 1.5 Mississippi rivers, and about twice as long as the Oregon Trail. So, just saying, that seems pretty close for something that could potentially destroy any major city on the planet. In other news, there also seems to be a bit more happening at Yellowstone than we have been led to believe in recent months. Just about a month ago, I did a video on the earthquake swarm that has been plaguing the Yellowstone area, and this swarm has been producing some of the highest numbers of quakes ever recorded in the area. The swarm has continued since I made that video, and an area which houses one of the few supervolcanoes on Earth has been inundated with even more earthquakes recently. This supervolcano could cause a mass extinction event if it were to go off. It has the power to send the planet into an ice age that would last thousands of years. It could literally wipe mankind from existence. And now we find out that the ground there is indeed swelling and deforming as magma is pumped into the chamber below the supervolcano. We've also seen reports that roads are melting in the area, meaning that the ground is so hot underneath there that the tar on the roads is starting to melt. Now, if you watched the last video, you remember that we covered the possible destruction that the Yellowstone supervolcano could cause to our planet. You will recall that a super eruption would essentially destroy the entire United States for all intents and purposes. There would probably be some survivors in small pockets around the country, but not many. Europe and Asia wouldn't fare much better. They would die off following the eruption due to fallout from the ash, or the winter of ash that would last for many, many years before the skies finally cleared. And even then, the world would have been pitched into an ice age that would last for thousands of years. All of this combined would decimate the number of humans alive on the planet. Any survivors would be thrown back into a way of life that has not existed for many, many, many years now, and many would die as a result of this as well. People are simply not prepared to endure those types of consequences. But inevitably, there would be a few survivors that would make it, because life always finds a way. We have to wonder what the new Earth would look like after being wiped clean by Mother Nature. Would we evolve in different ways? Would we finally learn to create lifestyles that were in harmony with nature and the planet that we live on? Or would we fall into the same traps as we have in this lifetime, with greed and the hunger for power shaping the way we live? It certainly is something to contemplate, especially now that we've had literally thousands of earthquakes in this area in the past couple months, and we see that the ground is swelling. Roads have been spotted melting in the park, and the thing about Yellowstone is that we know it's going to blow sooner or later, so it's just a matter of time. So please get in the comments section and let us know what you think about this coming asteroid and the events unfolding at Yellowstone. We want to hear what you guys are thinking. And thank you guys for all the likes, subscribes, and comments. You guys are so awesome, and we are proud to be involved with such great folks. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys soon with another video.